Hello and welcome to... Ow! Oh! Ah! Ow! 6 of the best. A quick trip around some of Scunthorpe and surrounding areas, most outstanding features and places of interest. Enjoy. And we're off. This is Ashbyville Nature Reserve, also known as Lakeside. Once the site of Anchor Village that was abandoned in the early 80s, which, to be honest, I can distinctly remember seeing the semi-submerged porter cabins. Yeah, 1 or 2 people took the cabins and had them as sheds in the back gardens. Recycling at its finest. It was a sand and gravel quarry at one time, but it's now transformed into a thriving wildlife haven. Or just a cracking place to have a ramble. The site's industrial past has shaped a unique landscape of mounds, hollows and disturbed soils, now home to a dynamic mosaic of bare ground, wildflower meadows, scrub and woodland. Some of the trees you'll see are the English oak, the elm, the elder and the birch, all providing shelter and food for birds like the tawny and long-eared owls. Not the short-eared though, no. Why don't they get a mention? Green woodpeckers, pied wagtails, robins and blackbirds, to name but just 6. Yeah. The wetlands attract Canada and greylag geese, mallards, tufted ducks, little grebes, mute swans and reed buntings. Yeah. And the water hosts a healthy stock of varied fish. A couple of years ago, a fisherman caught a £14. Imagine, right? You sat there fishing, you think, oh, I've got a good one here, it must be a carp. No. Do you know what it was? It was a £14 snapping turtle. That obviously some knob had bought as a pet and got bored of and thought, oh, I'll chuck it in the water. Mammals aplenty. Bats, loads of them. Butterflies, up to 20 species. So whether it's fishing, bird watching, rambling or just a space to immerse yourself in Mother Nature's splendour, Ashbyville Nature Reserve seriously takes some beating. Top gaff. Right, time for a bit of mystical. Dragonby and the Dragon. So the village name of Dragonby is fairly recent. It was changed by the local landowners, the Elwes family, from its original name of Conisby Cliff, whatever. They changed it in honour of the Dragon. Now, the Dragonby Dragon is a natural limestone formation. It's about 20 metres long, with a discernible head, you can see that, and a tail. Yeah, at t'other end. Now, it is not a man-made structure and is most certainly ancient. It is, in fact, a natural rock formation caused by limestone and a spring. But local legend says it is the body of a dragon, and that was turned to stone by a wizard, because we had a lot of them in Scunny back then. Another story claims that it is indeed the top of a church that sank into the earth after the devil, oh yeah, old Beelzebub, and a load of his little imps sat on the roof and weighed it down, with the congregation still inside. Oh, you cheeky devil. And once a year, ghostly bells can still be heard ringing. And up, up and away! So this is Julian's Bower, and it stands on a hillside overlooking the confluence of the River Ouse and the River Trent, where it all meets from Thumber. Now, no one knows originally who cut the 12-metre maze, which is technically a labyrinth. Yeah, it has a single entrance and a path, but it was first recorded in 1697. But there are a couple of various tales as to its origin. I'll run them by you. So the first one, St. Julian the Hospitaller, I think he worked at an hospital, to be honest. He set up a hostelry after accidentally killing his parents. And he was one night visited by a leper, because there was loads of them in Hawkborough. Still a couple there now. And as there were no spare beds, he offered his own to the traveller, who in turn turned into an angel. Brilliant! But what's that got to do with building a maze? I don't know. Perhaps a more plausible theory is that the maze was carved by a small cell of monks. Yeah, that's what they call a collection of monks, a cell, who lived in the area until the 13th century. It has played an important part in the lives of locals, and indeed, once a year, Hawkborough parishioners don, that's wear, elaborate garments from animals that they have snared, butchered and skinned, and then they line up to take it in turns at the annual chasing of the Johnson sisters to the centre of the maze. Yeah. Now, for over 50 years, not one person has ever caught neither Kate nor Helen of the Johnson sisters, due to the fact that they have a low centre of gravity, being quite small, and are scurriers of the highest order. And on completion of the chase, it is law in Hawkborough that every resident must buy both Kate and Helen a cocktail of their choice across the road at the Coronation Club. It's a bit like the Haxie Hood, apart from the fact that I just made all of that up because the Johnsons are friends of mine. Yeah, but it's nice imagery, isn't it? Although they do scurry and love a cocktail. Julian's Bower. It's amazing. You see what I did there? And on to Risby Warren, which is a sandy ridge near Scunthorpe, and it's part of the Open Cast Way footpath. Now, it's known for its archaeological importance, particularly for its Metholithic, Neolithic and Bronze Age remains. Yeah, there's loads up there. It's also recognised for its natural environment, supporting wildlife and being popular for activities like bird watching, cycling and rambling alike. A designated footpath is clearly signed, and parts of the track are closed off due to subsidence from the 180 miles, you heard me right, that's a fact, 180 miles of tunnels directly below your feet from Dragonby Mines. Now, the building you see, I have on good authority, was built during World War II as a pumping station from the steelworks, and although currently stands abandoned, it still holds a rare charm of elaborate construction methods that are sadly lacking in today's modern world. You can walk the footpath all the way to Santon, but why would you? Now, on a personal note, a good mile or so of the track is perfect if you want to introduce yourself to the joy that is earthing. Yeah, that's where you take your socks and shoes off, you know what I mean? And you get like the grass between your toes. So last year I thought I'd give it a go. And it was a surprisingly pleasant experience. Feeling the direct contact to the earth for a sustained period is an unusual sensation, but not unpleasant. So do us a favour, get your socks off, get your boots off. In fact, do it in the other order because that would just be weird. And tune in to the Earth's frequency. Yeah. Unless you've got really unattractive feet or hooves. Brisby Warren. It's not just for rabbits. Oh, look at that. So this is Frodingham Footbridge, and it's had somewhat of a checkered history, both in its present form and its original incarnation. So the original footbridge was over 400 feet long, straight over the railway, opened on the 30th of July 1929. However, a partial collapse in 1954 saw the need for a new footbridge to be constructed. So in October of 56, work was progressing well on the new bridge. A dozen concrete trestles were placed to support the vital link, and it's a link between Frodingham and Scunthorpe, or Brumby, do you know what I mean? Whichever way you want to look at it. So at the end of October, two large cranes lifted one of the 5-ton pre-stressed concrete beams into position, and in a further stage of the construction process. Eventually, the bridge was 620 feet long. Yeah, they didn't do stuff in metres back then, no, it was feet and inches. And it cost £35,000, which, let's be honest, to today's money, you can't even get a weekend at Centre Parks for that, can you? No. So pretty good value, I'd say. Now, the footbridge has been the location of muggings, vandalism, and even murder. So, in the late 1980s, a CCTV system was installed to add the feeling of safety for people using the bridge, and the new lighting was fitted. Yeah, you can walk over there at night now. I mean, you might still get mugged, I don't know, but at least there's a light there, so the mugger can see what you've got. But joking apart, it stands for me as a true icon in my Scunthonian heart. I love it, and occasionally I do walk across, and I like nothing more. Yeah, imagine this, because it happens. I like nothing more than to stop halfway and pretend like I'm a Cold War spy, waiting for my contact to hand over an envelope that contains top secret information. Shh. Which, in retrospect, might look a bit weird to the pedestrian approaching me, especially considering I'm wearing a charity shop trench coat, a trilby, and topped up with sunglasses at midnight, and asking the approaching stranger, are the roses in bloom in Latvia? I'm Scunthorpe till I die. I'm Scunthorpe till I die. What a cracking song. Who wrote that? Oh, I did. Yeah. Mash Baxter. Get on it. Anyway, last but by no means least, we are off to the home of the Iron, Glanford Park. Yeah, you heard me right. Glanford Park. Not the Attis Arena, not the Sands venue, no, Scunthorpe Park. It opened in 1988 at a construction cost of £2.5 million. What? Can't even get a player for that now. It was the first new purpose-built Football League stadium in England for 33 years, since Southend United moved to Roots Hall in 1955. The ground was fully completed prior to the 88-89 season and was officially opened at the start of the season by, drumroll please, Princess Alexandra. Yeah, me as well. No idea, but how lucky to catch the princess on a rare day off. So, it originally opened with a capacity of 11,190 because both goal ends had standing terraces. However, the capacity was later reduced to its current amount of 9,088. The ground's record attendance was set at 9,086, so you could have fitted two more in. And that was this year. Yeah, in the playoff final against Chester City. I was there. What? But Scunthorpe Park is the home of the Iron, but purely on nostalgia and memories, the old showground will forever be where the Iron were made. Scunthorpe Park.